So I just wanted to welcome everyone this evening to the launch of Investor Ready, a collaboration of the Northern Ontario Angels and LinkNorth. Before I came here tonight, I was kind of looking at the list of attendees. Often for these kind of events, you get a lot of the business organizations types that come out. But it's good that I see in the crowd there's a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, so it's great that you've been able to make it here tonight. Just to start, I think I want to begin with some thank yous. So I want to thank Kim from the Northern Ontario Angels and Taryn, who unfortunately, after months and months of planning and stuff, she couldn't be here tonight. But without those two, this event wouldn't be happening because they put a lot of the effort to making things happen. So round of applause to I want to introduce our entrepreneurs who will be speaking shortly, part of our Fireside chat. So we have Jared Rogers and Jessica West. And if you remember, they took part in our first inaugural pitch competition last year. And then we have Vineet Johnson from IRegained. I think it was back in 2019 that participated in our pitch event that we had here at College Boreal last time. So before I get into talking about the program and get to the details when we start things, I want to welcome up Corey Robin, who's with the Northern Ontario Angels, and he's going to do a little land acknowledgement.
I just find that hilarious how this stuff does. So I'm here to perform a land acknowledgement. I know. A land acknowledgement is where we acknowledge the ancestral heritage of our city and the lands that we live in. We know we talk a lot of people, we talk about our histories and our heritages of where you're from. Like I have people in my past, they're from Poland, or they're from England, or they're from France. But when I ask my grandmother where we're from here. We're from here from time immemorial. And that means that when I ask my grandmother, she asked her grandmother, and she asked her grandmother, and no one really knows where we come from. We come from here. So today we're talking about the land acknowledgement, and that's what I'm here today. So welcome to Treaty 9 territory, the traditional territory of the Matagami First Nation, and many Inuit, Métis, and Aboriginal Indigenous people here since the beginning of time. Thank you. Good luck with that button.
Yeah. Let's see if can you hear me through this? All right, so I think I'm good here. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Investor Ready, obviously, and just start by talking about our partnership with the Northern Ontario Angels. Ian will be coming up shortly. You can get some details about who the NOA is. But LinkNorth, and previously the Productivity Innovation Center they're known as, we've been working in partnership and collaboration with the NOA since 2015. So we've been hosting annual pitch events to give entrepreneurs and businesses an opportunity to pitch their product, technology, or service to angel investors. Last year was the first time that we've ever introduced a competitive element to the show. So we had our first pitch competition, which was well attended. It was very well received in the community. I think it really started to help build the profile of both LinkNorth and the Northern Ontario Angels a little bit more. But last year we had the successes, but then we also had some learning lessons. One of the main lessons we learned was that our entrepreneurs could have been better prepared to do their pitch if they could use some more support. So So what we've done now is we're introducing Invest Ready. So Invest Ready is a program that's going to run over a couple of months. It's going to involve virtual workshops, 1 or 2 per week, that are going to introduce participants to help them to develop their business model, help them to understand the value that they create and deliver to their customers, help them develop their value proposition. And these series of workshops are going to be designed from the start to the end to prepare entrepreneurs to pitch to angel investors, pitch their product, technology, and sell it. Part of that, though, one thing is to say it's about pitching to angel investors. Obviously, that's one of the main things. But at the end of the day, if you're an entrepreneur, regardless if you're pitching to angel investors, when you're selling your product or service, you're going to be pitching to everyone. You're going to be pitching to the suppliers that you want to supply your product to various retailers. You're going to be pitching to your customers who you want to sell to. Even business to business and other financiers that you might be going after. Along with the workshops of the program, there's also going to be LinkNorth and NOA support. So our staff are going to be there to provide participants the mentoring and guidance and business advisory services as they're working on their business model and pitch presentation to help them along that way. You'll have the flyer that when you came in, that flyer you can scan it, that's maybe details about the program. Our first workshop actually starts next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Nancy Riopel from Human Management will be delivering our presentation on starting to develop the business model. But thanks for coming tonight. I hope you enjoy our fireside chat with our entrepreneurs. And now I'll call on Ian Lane, Executive Director of the Northern Ontario Angels, to come up and say a few words. Thanks.
Cool, made it. The drive up to Timmins from Sudbury was actually the easy part. Walking across the floor, I was worried about tripping over my 2 left feet, so I made it.
Beer was great too.
Sorry?
Beer was great too.
Oh yeah, so very good. Yeah, liquid courage. Welcome everyone. So Ian Lane, Executive Director with the Northern Ontario Angels. I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us tonight. Really great vibe in the and buzz in the foyer, and it's just great to gather again. We're lucky to be here under in these circumstances and to network like we did before COVID. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be representing our organization, and looking forward to meeting with you and having some important conversations and lending visibility to our organization. So, little factoid is the Northern Ontario Angels is the #1 angel network in North America. It's an impressive feat. We're competing with other angel networks in Houston, Silicon Valley, Toronto, other parts of Canada. To be #1 is a huge achievement, and we need to lend a little bit of visibility and awareness around who we are. And so that's why it's really important to have these really fruitful and meaningful collaborations with LinkNorth and other partners in the room. If you're an entrepreneur that's starting out, you need to know that in Northern Ontario you have access to unprecedented resources. I think Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, CFTCs, FedNor, Northern Ontario Angels, small business economic enterprise centers. But it can be kind of confusing, and so by having this Investor Ready program with LinkNorth, I think we can make the process a little bit more linear, have a couple goal marks along the way as you're starting your business, and know that there's a great network or ecosystem here that wants to support you and wants you to succeed. So this program is going to be really, really excited. It's the first one that we've done with any of the regional innovation centers in Northern Ontario. So really just delighted to see where it goes and interested to find out the outcomes and continue to build on it. These things are iterative, and we're looking forward to some sustainability around it. I started as executive director in January after Corey peppered me with a number of questions, and I took that's an inside joke. We're laughing though. anyways, it started in January, and I've inherited an amazing organization with a strategic plan around creating awareness and visibility for organizations. So like I said, this stuff is really important. But the sustainability is also really important. And again, partnering with LinkNorth, with the Economic Development Center, not just in Timmins, but across the region is really important so that we have a strong pipeline of entrepreneurs and companies that are coming for our services and creating good exposure for our investors. And so I kind of carved out the two main stakeholders that I saw when I first started as being entrepreneurs and businesses that are looking to scale and investors, but it's become really apparent over the last number of months of working with LinkNorth that there's an equally third important stakeholder group, and that's our innovation ecosystem partners like the LinkNorth. And so again, I'm repeating myself, but very, very excited about the partnership that we forged, and I know it's could be one of many things that we'll do together. Looking forward to that. Also want to say that why we're the #1 angel network in North America is that we have a very different model. So we support different businesses. We're not just focused on technology or medical technology. We're focused on manufacturing. We talked to Cameron a little bit about that earlier. We'll support resource exploration. We do about 50% of our deals are in technology. But we'll look at other organizations or entrepreneurs that are looking to get started. And we're across Northern Ontario, so we have 8 chapter communities, Timmins being one. And why we're successful is that we have experts on the ground. And so Steve Kidd is our expert consultant in Timmins, and so he's your point of contact here. And if you're an entrepreneur, reach out to Steve. He can help you along that pathway. And if you're an investor and you want to participate in this network, talk to Steve as well. And Steve's territory is obviously quite large. It's Timmins, Cap, Hearst. I think you've gone into some shores a little bit. Probably down in the North Bay. Well, you know Steve, he's got to reach, so it's a good thing. So Steve is a great conduit for that, and we have he has 8 peers throughout the region. So we're in Kenora, Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, obviously Timmins, North Bay, Parry Sound, and Sudbury, and in the north, in the far north. So really, our model with having the consultants on the ground really makes us successful. And around the visibility and awareness, if you want to learn more about us, go to our website, www.northernontarioangels.ca. And we've got our strong social media channel. And so we're on LinkedIn, YouTube, what are the other ones? Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So follow us there. You'll hear about the exciting stuff we're doing. We're really enhancing our brand in the coming months and years. And thank you very much for hosting us. And thank you, Ross, for your leadership here today.
Check one. We got the thumbs up from Ross Kinsman, and you're going to leave your microphone here. You're going to take that one?
I'm going to take this one.
All right, you're already off script.
And we'll put one to our guests here.
I don't know why I have pre-production meetings with you. You do everything the opposite of what I said.
Doing everything opposite of what Bob says.
You're not going to stand in front of our... Okay, good. All right, so
we're all right.
We're off to a good... So I'm Jamie KLOMP. This is...
I'm KINZ, Mark Kinsman.
Mark Kinsman. We're KINZ and KLOMP. We social media entertainment company. It's a title we invented because we wanted to be the first, but we host live stream shows and events across the community.
Yes, we do.
That's right.
And our inception since December of 2020 to now, and we just keep on growing and growing and doing what we do best, which is promoting people's brands through, you know, as they call it, a new age of technology, which is social media, where we've got a pretty extensive reach here.
You know, speaking of technology, Kinsman, I'm so happy to be here tonight, you know, surrounded by entrepreneurs, talking about investing, because years ago, you gave me some advice, you know. You told me...
What was the advice?
You said never to invest in Apple, go with Betamax and Blockbuster. You said it good. And so I lost all my money, and you know what your advice was? Let's spend a night at Jackpot City, put it all on the roll, and get it back. And
that's not the proper way to invest.
No, that's
or hoping that you're going to win the TADH, 50-50 driver month, right?
That is our backup plan. We've definitely been exposed, but
Yeah.
we love working with the good folks at LinkNorth.
LinkNorth and now the Northern Ontario Angels. Again, Ross and his team, of course, Taryn, who can't be here tonight, watching this. We've got it being recorded tonight. Kim, the entire team, as they say, there's no, here's your favorite, the first cliche of the night, there's no I in team, but there's a lot of help here tonight that puts this, machine in motion.
Right. It's good to the Angels too, right? I always pray to the Angels to get the Bills a Super Bowl win for once, and maybe it's Ian they never bring down.
They're working for businesses. Yeah, not football teams.
I was going to have a bone to pick with them.
Yeah.
But we have 3 amazing guests today.
We certainly do.
Including all the amazing guests on this side of the room.
Yes, and each and every one of you tonight has a chance to walk away with that door prize. I do believe it's valued at $500, so a very good chance one of you will walk away with that tonight.
All right, so are you ready for the fireside chat?
I think so.
Why did you bring marshmallows? You didn't know it was a business term, did you?
I thought we were going to have a campfire in the middle.
Well, Jared could have helped you out with one of his fire pits, right?
Well, you know what? Maybe some dandies. Dandies are in, plant-based Marche's pockets right there.
All right.
Roxy and Sophie here tonight.
So last chance to tuck in your shirt. You're not going with that? All right. We're going to skip the tucked in shirt. Let's introduce this.
Let's introduce the guests, yes.
All right, so I'm going to start with Jared, right?
Okay.
All right, so there's Jared. Throw your hands in the air. Jared Metal Arts and Designs. He does a lot. Of course, he manufactures those beautiful signs you see to the table to the left of me, but he's a local, strong entrepreneur that's kicking some butt. His first year of business, he's got major expansion plans, and if you're looking for someone to motivate and ask questions to and how to get a business off the ground and start to successfully grow it, it's a pleasure to have Jared here today.
Big round of applause for Jared Rogers. And next tonight, this young lady is one of the biggest entrepreneurs in this city, Jessica West from Tresor Kombucha, ladies and gentlemen. In 2015, Jessica sustained a debilitating brain injury, and on her road to recovery, discovered the benefits of kombucha for brain health. And she also discovered that many people find kombucha highly acidic and vinegar tasting, so she tested different recipes until she created her light, low, acidic tasting kombucha. Right now, her products are sold at a dozen locations across our region, but Jessica is looking to expand this right across Canada. And when we first met her, Jamie and I, at one of the farmers markets, she has skyrocketed even since then, and that's only been about a year ago. And again, Jessica West from Tresor Kombucha, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to let you introduce our third guest, but I know a secret. When he was 3 years old in India, he looked around to the group there and says, "I'm moving to Timmins, Ontario." It's a true story. It's his life dream, and it's coming true. It's coming true, kids.
Yes, Vineet Johnson from IRegained Inc. Big round of applause for Vineet here. And he's got quite the resume. Vineet Johnson completed his BSc in physiotherapy at Christian Medical College in India and obtained a graduate diploma in physiotherapy from Queen Margaret University, Scotland in the UK. He then went on to complete a master's degree in neuroscience at Simon Fraser University over here in Canada, followed by his doctoral program at McGill University. He has worked as a teacher and a researcher on 3 continents. His research interests largely focused on exploring neuromuscular recovery strategies in individuals post-stroke. And the primary goal of the most recent research was to explore the use of goal-driven exercise strategies and to study the mechanisms that mediate neuroplastic changes in the human brain. Page 2. And Vineet, also the founder and CEO of IRegained Inc., a social impact med tech startup, which is a company that has come up with the My Hand system, which improves hand function in individuals who have suffered a brain trauma or stroke. And again, quite the resume there. IRegained Inc., there's Vineet Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so here's how it's going to work. I didn't run you through this because you never pay attention to what we're going to do. We have some questions, and we're going to rotate the questions. Of course, there's going to be time at the end for the lovely folks up there to ask questions to our entrepreneurs.
That's right.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to start with Jared.
Okay.
It's a pressing question. You know, I've been wanting to ask it for so long. How come you have such beautiful hair? Like, I'm completely jealous. He's got the perfect hair in the group, but
It's just as nice.
it's just as nice. He's been working on his kindness here at KINZ in Business 101. But Jared, you've been in business for just over a year. That's a very trying time for a new entrepreneur because a lot of things get thrown your way, a lot of obstacles. It's easy to get down and give up, but you've strived and survived. So what advice would you give to individuals who are either considering or maybe just in their first few weeks of starting their business? And Mike,
Yeah, we have the mic
Wow.
over. That's why I went to this mic over here in the console.
That's why. Sorry about that, good sir.
Test. On?
Is it work? Testing 1, 2, 3. Yes, Jared. That's on.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, the first year of business is very tough. I'm sure any entrepreneur could tell you that. I worked a full-time job for the first 9 months of my business. It was a difficult time at the beginning, but the best piece of advice that I've gotten since I started is get up in the morning. Doesn't matter if you got your ass kicked the day before, if your machine broke down, or you might have ran out of money, you gotta get up in the morning and get to work. Because what it feels like is 90% of the stuff that you accomplish gets done by showing up. And the best piece of advice I could give is get up in the morning and get to work. It's not gonna happen magically.
He's right. He's right. He's also watched a lot of Rocky movies, but he's absolutely right. You did.
And he's got luscious locks there. KLOMP's still staring at Jared's hair.
Right. Oh, we're still doing the hair joke. People already laughed at that. We're moving on here, Kinsman. But he's absolutely right. And I would advise anyone, even if you don't want to ask a question here, publicly, definitely speak with Jared offline because you're looking at a young entrepreneur here kicking some butt and going through those first years of trials. And I love it. And we love them too. We're very proud of them. All right, Kinsman, you
Yes.
can ask the next question.
Yeah, very proud. And again, he's got a sign with your name on it right over there. You could visit Jared on the...
No, you weren't supposed to do no.
Not supposed to use that one tonight. Anyhow, we're going to move on to the next question. The young lady in the center, of course, Tresor Kombucha. Jessica West is, a young, inspiring entrepreneur. She's only been at it 2 years. So, Jessica, my question to you is, in the 2 years from startup to now, what types of challenges have you, come across and maybe overcome between when you started to now? Because we've seen, we've only known you, just over a year now. And we've seen exceptional growth with your business.
Challenges, okay. How far do we want to get into this? How much detail? So I think one of the biggest challenges was starting a business and then maintaining a business is finding out that why. So kind of like what Jared, to piggyback on what he was saying, just get up in the morning and know your why, because the why is what is going to allow you to get up in the morning, right? And so I think it was finding that when challenges came up, some things like co-packing issues or labeling issues, and just finding the stores and finding shipping and transportation here in the north is really hard. And so what kept me going was finding the why. Like, why am I doing this? And I think that's what helped me pull through. And I listed off some of the challenges that I've been through. I also was starting this pre-pandemic, and so having the lockdown was also something that, kind of put a roadblock in my plans to build a commercial kitchen here locally. But then when the lockdown happened and construction was up in the air, who knows what was going to happen? Well, then I had to pivot and go co-packer route. And so there was a lot of challenges that came up, but having that clear why just helped me push forward through it.
And I think one of yours, one of your biggest assets is the passion you bring to your business. If you're not enthusiastic and passionate about your own business, then you cannot expect other people to be the same. And you've definitely demonstrated that every time we've seen you, including tonight, and it makes them excel, Mark.
It does, and seeing drinks of Tresor Kombucha, being poured here tonight, and seeing people enjoying it while we're in tonight's presentation is, it just shows the successes of, how awesome Tresor Kombucha is here in the north.
Did you even put a belt on? Is that why it's not
I've got a belt on.
Because you just not even showing it tonight, or what?
Well, I've got a belt.
Yes, I'm worried. Okay, so we have to move on here, Kinsman. It can't be a comedy act the whole night here, even though we wish it could be. My fine young gentleman here. I'm going to tell you a bit of a story first. When Mark and I did our first pitch for Win This Space, we were told we had 10 minutes. Now, Mark and I, as you can already tell,
we like to chat.
We like to chat. We practiced for 2 straight days, getting it to 10 minutes. When we walked into the pitch, then we were told we had 15 minutes. And we probably wanted to talk for 30. Like, we really blew it there with the time. But you did your first pitch, from what I understand, in 2019. At least according to my Google, 2018. First typo of the night there, Kinsman. Well, we caught them.
NOA,
Yep.
Thunder.
So it is a nerve-wracking process, and it is something that you learn over time. Have you learned anything, or what have you learned how to redefine your pitch process since the first time you did it till now?
That's a very, very difficult question. When I first made a pitch deck, I was the one man walking around, and everybody tells you, if you get on YouTube, you'll have 1,000 ideas, maybe a million ideas. If you get on Google, same story, and if you talk to a lot of people, same story. I'd like to reflect back to these 2 awesome people who said something very, very important. Get up and know why. And the same thing applies to a pitch deck. The pitch deck is a story, and a story that has to carry the passion that both of them showed. It should buy in. You're basically selling stock of your company to an investor or to anyone else. In other words, it's a sales pitch. You're trying to sell an idea. So you have to get them attracted to your story, while also succeeding in convincing them that that's the place they got to open their pocket and write in the chat, because that's the bottom line. And if you get that, then you go to the next step. So in terms of a pitch deck, I pretty much, I would have to say, evolve, never get stuck. Rule number 2, do not listen to everybody in the world. Have your ideas. Know what you are, know what you stand for. And if you believe that you need to go from here and grab one of those lanterns hanging up there, get all the ideas. Someone would say, first you climb on the roof and then come around. Someone would say, try jumping up. But get all of those ideas to shape your idea, not change your idea. Because the day you start changing to other people's ideas, your story doesn't exist anymore. So the only thing I could say that has helped us and continues to help us as a team is know exactly what you want, know what your story is, and no matter how good you are, no matter how good you can speak like these 2 gentlemen, practice 1,000,000 times. Because when you get to a pitch, you cannot fret, you cannot suck at it, you cannot fumble. You just can't, because you're there pitching for one simple reason. You want someone to write you a check, and you have to convince them. So you should practice so many times that you never look at your deck. You click, you know what's there. Keep your story to the point, and the rest will be history on its own. But you write your story.
Wonderfully said. And we even got a compliment in there. Did you get that, Mark?
Sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone's I figured it.
Table here.
That's right.
Love you.
We're definitely
Paid him to laugh at his jokes here tonight, too.
That's right. We actually got a couple laughs, believe it or not. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, I want to slide back down to Jared. And you know, Jared, like, I'm really envious of the position. You know, he's in. He's at a perfect stage of his life to go for it, and I think he's going to reflect in many years that he's making the right decisions. People ask me and you, Mark, why we're going fast. We're in our late 40s. Like, come on now. We got
time to slow down.
Okay, we're like,
No time to slow down.
yeah, there's no time to slow down. But I really love Jared's spirit because Jared's already thinking about advancing his business and taking those steps. You know, moving into industrial services. And was that? I guess the question is going to be for you, Jared. What thought process went into? Now's the right time to start making the next step? Were you concerned it was too early? Did you need a waiting process? Or did you just figure, you know, this is my passion, I've done the research and I'm going for it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Starting off my business, I knew I always wanted to grow it into a custom fabrication shop to service the local mining industry. I started off with the metal signs and the fire pits and all those great products to spread the word around town that, you know, I'm a new metal worker, gain some capital, gain some sales, some revenue, and start gathering the equipment to move into larger scale manufacturing contracts. For the time-wise, I mean, it was always a goal. It was always, you know, come across a custom fab job, try to take it and so on. But trying to secure a business loan right now to grow the business exponentially, it just kind of everything landed in my lap, I feel like. I got lucky to get into the trade show, make some contacts in the local, get into the mining show, make some contacts in the local industry. Came across a couple of jobs that I was able to, you know, bid aggressively on because I'm still small and secure the work. But recognizing the need for trade work in the city, the new mines that are trying to open up, all the potential work that's around here, I know that you want to get at it as soon as you can. So I guess basically it's the right time because you got to go for it, you know, you gotta, I spent a year gathering some revenue, gathering some cash, and now it's try to secure the loan, buy the shop, and go at it full force into the industrial sector.
You can tell one of the biggest steps of improvement I've seen with Jared, you know, Jared and Jessica were both in pitch last year, which we were fortunate enough to host. You got to be incredibly brave to step in front of, like, you know, the camera. Grant was a judge. You got to be tough.
It's
He's
not
tough,
easy.
that guy, man.
And he's sitting front row
Right.
now,
Oh, he's
frothing for the mic.
Right.
He's gonna have some questions.
He's going to be drilling him hard, yeah. We're just giving them the lob balls. Wait, the Cameron has a glass of wine. He gives them a real good one. But nonetheless, you can tell that Jared spent a lot of time at the trade shows, at the farmers market, talking to the public, because the confidence in your voice, speaking about your business and the clarity, it was great last year at pitch, but you made tremendous strides, my friend. So
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Huge strides. And again, you know, when someone says you're only at a farmer's market, probably one of the biggest ways to, you know, get your business out there. And again, that's how we met both these two fine entrepreneurs, you know, Jared and, you know, Jessica, who were both here tonight. And, the leaps and bounds, you know, going back to Tresor Kombucha, from when we met Jessica and Tresor Kombucha, you know, if you haven't had it yet, it's a 3,000-year-old drink. You know, jump on the train now. You know it's good if it's 3,000 years old, right? And we know Jessica has, you know, the niche for this amazing drink, and is now expanding here in Northern Ontario, which is now seeing your product, you know, not only go from, you know, you're selling it from your house, but now it's in grocery stores, which is an amazing, you know, thumbs up for Tresor Kombucha. So my question to you is, you know, seeing your product in the grocery stores, how do you stay on top of, you know, let's say competitors who might have a similar drink or a certain beverage compared to Tresor Kombucha? How do you see yourself against the competition?
Yeah, I love that question. Great question. And honestly, I took this year to really think about it and figure all that out. And that's really when my why became so prominent to me, and where I feel like my story is going to be of big importance. And so what I'm going to be working on, and a lot in the new year, when I have new revenue streams and new services, I guess, that I'm going to be launching then. And so I'm really wanting to take the company to be not so much a beverage company, but more of an empowerment brand. And I think that's what's going to help me differentiate myself from the other beverages on the store shelves, where, you know, their mission is to have a beverage product, which is great. And we have an amazing beverage product that's organic, that's with, you know, lightly acidic, with all of the great ingredients. But we're really going to be taking more of a lifestyle approach and more of a mindset approach. And so, as you can see on my sign over there, our new slogan, which I have just changed in the past couple months, is "Empower Yourself from the Inside Out." And so, thank you. And so the company is really starting to turn in that direction. And there's two ways that I believe that we empower ourselves, and that is from the food that we take and how we feel in our bodies, but also it's what we consume in terms of the thoughts that we have and what's going on in our environment. And so I really want to provide the means for people to empower themselves in every aspect of their being, to really bring that total wellness being. And so that's how I feel like I'm going to differentiate from the other brands, because we have such a greater purpose than simply quenching someone's thirst.
And again, seeing other beverages in the audience here tonight, by a show of applause, they're both great. Who likes the fieldberry, the ginger turmeric? Make some noise for it. There we go. Fieldberry's over there.
She just told you something you didn't notice. She said, ignore it. The competition.
That's it. If you put your blinders on, you stay in your lane, no one's going to touch you. And again, Tresor Kombucha, an amazing business. And we love Jessica West. We love her other half over there, Justin. In fact, both of them are part of our show. Big sponsors of, local, and not only being local, but for us here personally with KINZ and KLOMP.
If I can just add in 1 second, I'm so sorry to take away from the script. But I was just talking to Roxanne from the Plant-Based Marché, and we were just talking about that it's not competing, it's creating. And I feel like that's how you're going to succeed in the market today, is to create something. Don't try and copy your competitor.
That's right. And, we're all in, as I say, we're all in this together, form great partnerships like we have done here in the city with KINZ and KLOMP, with Tresor Kombucha, the Jared Rogers of the world, the V&M Renovations of the world, and, we boost each other. That's how we move along.
All right, Kinsman, is it my turn? Or
it's your turn. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Once again, I want to slide down to the end of the couch here. Now, I understand we haven't got to know you as much as we've got to know Jessica and Jared, so we're pleased for this introduction.
You've been ignoring me.
Are you going to take back that little dip you made on us, or are we still good speakers?
I pitched before that.
No,
in the same spot.
We're still off to a rough start here, Kinsman, but congratulations. Thank you so much, good sir. Now, you recently opened up an office in Sudbury, from what I understand. Congratulations. He's looking at me like he's saying, that note's wrong.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out where in India you caught me when I was 3 years old.
Right.
So wondering if you're my dad or my grandpa.
I'm very nosy. I'm very nosy,
Well,
I dig deep. This because I have no social life of my own, but there is a question here. I want to skip one because there's a question down here that's HR related. I worked in HR for 17 years. And it's about motivating employees. And a manager used to tell me, he used to say, why can't I recruit good employees? And I used to tell him, why can't you retain good employees? Keeping good staff. So you have a team that works under you, and I'm sure you're first to admit if your team fails, then you fail. So how do you motivate your employees and retain them in your business in a very competitive recruitment industry right now?
that's a really, really, really nice question. First step is to stop calling them employees, call them colleagues. Second step is totally look at them as the leaders of the company as we move forward. One of the things I've done right from day one, I wanted a very even platform. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO, It doesn't matter what title you have, because they're all made up anyways. So one day you have a title, the next day you don't. So don't hang on the title too much. Instead, make sure everybody's equal. And I kind of say something very stupid, which a lot of people think it's not the right way to say, but this is what I say. I tell them, I am the doormat, I am the carpet that you guys walk on. My job here is to give you all the tools you need. I'm not your boss, I'm your colleague. The same company that pays me pays you. Second thing, this is a question I get asked a lot, retention. We have not lost any employees to that. We just have not. Because employees are not there, we don't pay a lot either. So employees are not there, they're human beings just like me, just like everyone else. They've got their bills to pay. What people, all human beings, all of us really want is respect. So when you respect your colleague, when you respect every single person that's hired, you earn their respect automatically. And say what you mean and mean what you say always. So when I say I am the doormat, I don't just say that, I mean that every step of the way. When someone comes and says, hey, I need this or I need that, and make sure that happens that very same day. The other important factor, create a condition that people love. Because, if you think of it, roughly we all come to work 40 hours a week. And in a week, it's about 160 hours or something. After 160 hours, if you include your sleeping, and showering, and eating, and all that, another 50, 60 hours is gone. So people have very little time to themselves. The majority of their time, they're either sleeping or they're at work. So build an environment where they all respect each other, tolerant of each other, as diverse as possible. Equal amounts of men versus women, equal amounts of all kinds of skin colors, all kinds of languages, all kinds of food habits, so that people come in to have fun, not to work. I've never ever asked an employee at our company to work more. I usually have to kick them out. I go and work around 9ish in the morning. I leave 6:37. At least 3 or 5 days, I have to ask somebody, what the heck are you doing? Don't you have a life? I don't, I know. But you're supposed to. And so if you could create an environment that people could live that, then that automatically solves that problem. The last problem, which I think a lot of places have, is rules. What time do you come in? What time do you go out? I used to hate that. Like, how does it matter what time I come in? You're paying me to do a job. If you go to buy a tomato, you give money for a tomato, you should get a tomato. If you didn't get a tomato, complain. How does it matter how much time you spend? So our office, someone can walk up to me at 2 p.m. in the afternoon and say, hey, it's time for a nap. Is it okay if I leave? I say, goodbye. They have the freedom to do what they want. They work when they want. We don't have a sick leave policy. People talk about mandatory X number of sick leave. We don't have a policy. If they think they're sick, they shouldn't turn up. Why do you want to get other people sick in the process? So overall, I think, after having said all of that, the fundamental reason, or fundamental manner in which we've developed the whole thing is out of respect, nothing else but respect. The one other key factor that we do, there are two components to it. Any interview, every department or every specialty in your office sits on the interview. Like if it's an engineer, don't only have engineers sitting there, because that person is going to work with everybody else. Everybody has to vote on it. Number two, let colleagues hire colleagues. You may know the best, but you want to hire people with character. If they don't know what they're doing, you teach them, you never ever teach character. So I think those are few things that have also helped us succeed on that front. I guess I can keep talking, but if there's any questions I can answer, that's the broadest. It goes down to a simple word: respect.
Respect goes a long way. Now,
Certainly does.
I got to ask him a question secretly. No one can hear. So I have a bad employee. His name rhymes with bark. Any way I can get him to do some work?
That's your job.
That's my job. Love to talk. I thought you were going to help me out here. Okay. But no, you're definitely on the top 5% when it comes to your thoughts on how to treat your colleagues, not employees, and that your success is those folks have stayed with you. And that's your reward, so I'm very happy. That is definitely HR A+ approved answer right there.
Yes.
Very good.
As they say, you never leave, an employer, you're leaving the boss. Sometimes some say the bosses, make the place, and, hearing Vineet speak tonight, you can see why they never want to leave the place. So again, Vineet, great to have you.
Richard Branson says, train your employees so well so they could leave anytime they want. Treat your employees so well so they never want to leave.
Great advice.
Mark, your advice to me was win the lotto and get the hell out of business.
We
But
didn't go that financial route.
right.
No.
Okay. So we have, it's our job to stay on agenda.
Yes, we're going to stay on time here.
I do want to go home and watch the end of Dahmer, chapter 10. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't think it's going to be good. But listen, we got to 7:45, but we definitely want to open up the floor
Yes.
for
Anybody
questions.
by a show of hands want to?
But we have 9 minutes. Let's not
Okay.
get excited.
We're not asking the audience yet.
No, I said it at 7:45.
Okay, 7:45.
You never listened.
I wanted to ask Jared a question.
Yes, of course. We still have time for that.
Okay, so
Okay.
here we go. Jared, we're coming to the end of 2022 now. 2023. What is the vision for Jared's metal arts and signs? Let's say the next 5-year plan for you.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for the future of my business. It's been a great first year of business. I've hit every target that I've set for myself. Going into the new year, I'm excited to hopefully purchase a fabrication shop, a full capability shop to grow into the custom fabrication and industrial market. However, I always see signs, fire pits, and other metal products that I manufacture being part of the business. And that's mainly because as I go into these larger jobs, it's going to stress the work and cash flow a lot. And these signs and fire pits are just great. Buy them online at jaredsmetalart.com, and they just keep coming back their cash right away, right? So it helps the books going into bigger jobs. Next year, I fully intend to have my own shop, full shop with 3 to 4 employees working for industrial clients, making 80+% of my revenue, and to keep growing the business like that for a few years until one day I could open up a even bigger shop, I guess. But yeah, that within 5 years, I hope to expand again into a bigger shop. In the next few years, I hope to grow the industrial clientele that I have into over 80% of the revenue, and just keep taking it one step at a time until everybody knows Jared's Metal Art.
Amazing. And here in the city, we were at the grand opening for Focus Vision. If you go in there, the big wall monument, we were saying how awesome it was in our video that day, Jared. That is one kick-ass piece of art that's greets you when you walk into that business.
Yeah, that was actually my first commercial project, so that was a cool one.
You're on the cutting edge of foul language there, Kinsman. That's one warning for you. For Jessica, so we're here right now. Obviously we're here to promote the Investor Ready program. That's the main theme about tonight. And I'm going to consider a pitch in the Investor Ready program. I know by verbatim is not the same thing, but it is the same thing in a way where you educated in a business sense. You you took a bunch of courses, you got to learn how to promote your business, to make a formal pitch. It was a huge educational learning opportunity for you. So when you look at the audience here tonight, Jessica, maybe tell them a little bit about how valuable that was for you and your business when they're considering jumping on board the Investor Ready program to give them a jump start and an educational experience for their own business.
Yeah, every program and workshop that LinkNorth offers, not just the pitch event, but I have attended all of them, I think, pretty much, Ross. So the financials, the business model canvas, like all of it. I think one of the biggest things that I took from it was just the networking opportunity too, because it's true when they say your net worth is your network, and really speaking to others and meeting others in your community is so important. And so even if it's just for that alone, just to meet other people and network with other entrepreneurs, like do it. But the support that you have from the LinkNorth team and just building everything in your business, I feel like, and I had spoken about it on the LinkNorth podcast, if you haven't checked it out, but it really came to a time in my business when I had launched in stores and I was like, okay, what now? And so it really came at the right time to revisit the business model canvas, to revisit the financials and where I was going and all of that. And so if you already have an idea, it's great to get it all fine-tuned, and you have the support there with the LinkNorth team and all of the other consultants that are going to be part of those workshops. I'm assuming there are a number of workshops that are lined up for anyone who wants to join that program. And through there, I had met my accountant, I had met my business coach, and so a lot of these relationships that I made ended up supporting me and my business in the long run and where I was going. So I would highly recommend it for all of it.
And again, there are free services through LinkNorth and the Investor Ready program. So take full advantage. A lot of people don't realize that there's free, services right here, readily available. And you two are, proof of the pudding. Jessica, you're proof of the pudding. Putting these, courses to good use.
Could I have a statement there?
The floor is all yours, my friend.
Those of you that plan to move forward with the business, when Ian said Northern Ontario Angel is the #1 in North America, he didn't just say something. We've not been just #1, they've been #1 for a few years now. In fact, the first time when they announced it, I think it was in Chicago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, everybody in the crowd were looking at the Google map to figure out where Thunder Bay was. In other words, you can be so tall that they don't have a freaking clue where you are. That's how tall we are. So anyone that's interested, go after each and every member of the Northern Ontario Angel. I think my first contact with them was at Timmy's in Thunder Bay by the lake at University in 2016, June. I still have not forgotten that. That was with Mary Long Irving. Since then, I've had so much support from Ian, from Kim. Like, it's not just one time. Keep at them. They are the best in North America, not because they raised the most money, not because they made the most deals, that's the criteria, because they care. So you would really, really benefit. And I noticed Mr. Kidd here, Ross here, there's so many of them. Get at them, talk to them, bother them. And when you do that, you succeed, they succeed.
He's so good, you don't even have to ask a question, but you're looking...
No, I had to say that because
You're right.
that is a very important point.
It is.
Most of us, we think we live in a small town called Sudbury or a small town called Timmins, but the largest organization, this is not in New York, it's not in Boston, it's not in Toronto, it's not in San Francisco, it's here. There's something to say about that, and there's a difference.
So we do have till 8 o'clock for the question periods, but we don't want to hog all the questions. We want to see if there's any questions.
By show of hands.
If anyone's interested in asking a question to any of these awesome entrepreneurs, now is the time to pick the brain. Corey here.
We've got Corey Robin.
might take the next half hour? No? So I'm on the board of NOA, been on the board for a while. And I went to your pitch, the first one at Thunder Bay.
And we met on the plane after that. too.
That's correct. And I watched your pitch last year, your pitch last year. And I'm sitting here today and I'm seeing an increase in your ability to articulate. Vinny, you've actually rock and rolled this crowd all night. You didn't that first day. So you developed a skill between then and now. Jessica, you speak with much more confidence and clarity. You know what you're looking for. You know why you're here. And Jared, you've taken a lot of advice. And you're sitting here with the confidence because you know what you're doing. But I can tell you, at the very beginning, you didn't. And there were some challenges there. So if you think back for me today, to that first pitch, to that first time, what advice would you give from the mistakes that you've made? Because I can think back in my head and I'm like, ooh, that was kind of rough. But today, I know you wouldn't make that mistake today. So is there any advice you would give your previous self? Because pitching is such an important part of Northern Ontario Angels. And we are the #1 in North America. Houston will fly tight. But I know that you've done that. So is there a piece of advice you would give to your first pitcher that would translate to other people?
Yeah, no, if I could look back to Jared Rogers from, 7 months ago, I would tell him, quit that job and prepare a lot more. Because I was working a full-time job when I did my last pitch, and I was not fully prepared. I'll be the first one to say that. I swear to God, I've never been that nervous in my life. I'm a pretty outgoing person, but when they said lights, camera, action, and I stared into that camera, I could have fainted. I don't know if it's because I didn't prepare enough or whatever the deal was, but it was very nerve-wracking. So if you want to go into a pitch, if you want to go into any meeting and with confidence, you got to prepare. Like you mentioned earlier, you got to know your next deck before it even clicks, because if you don't, you're going to get behind, you're going to start overthinking, oh, I missed that one word or whatever, and just won't articulate yourself the way you should if you don't prepare enough. So it might sound obvious that you got to prepare, but that is without a doubt the most important advice I can give.
So I guess my advice would be to just keep going for myself. And, we hear all the time, like, growth is just on the other side of your comfort zone. And so when fear arises, keep going and keep pushing through it, because it's from there that you're going to grow. And so do all the things and do all the opportunities that come up that could help you with your business, help you grow, and help you network. And even if you have fear, keep doing it, because you're going to learn from it, and then look back a year from now and you'll need a telescope to look back at where you were. So that would be my advice, just keep going.
Thank you, Corey. The words of a great mentor. Really appreciate that. I don't know much about these two amazing young people. When I went for my first pitch, I had taught university for more than 20 years. 3 continents, 3 provinces in Canada. I've talked to so many in so many conferences. I could just get on any stage and just blah, blah, blah. But I still remember what Corey is referring to. That first pitch, my palm was not sweaty. It was like a waterfall. Because for the first time, I was actually trying to get into people's head to sell an idea. I had no idea what that was. I really have no idea. And I really have to say a big kudos to everyone in Northern Ontario Angels. A lot of them are not here today, but they've stood up to support. And like Corey was pointing out so elegantly, that you guys have all grown. Most of us may not even recognize that. But that introspection allows you to grow, like Jessica was pointing out. Always be aware of where you stand. Always remember that tomorrow's pitch is better than your today's. And like Jared was pointing out, practice the heck out. Doesn't matter how good you think you are, practice. Because when you get on that stage, you get 7, 8 minutes. I think a while ago, KINZ and KLOMP were pointing out that instead of 10 minutes, they gave them 15. Probably they overshot to 20 minutes. Because they practiced for 10. When they told them they got more time, they lost their control. That's happened to me not once, not twice, probably a million times. I've probably pitched now about 4,000 times. And that's happened to me so many times. So not only practice, if they gave you 15, you still do your 10. Because that's what you practice for. It's okay if you leave 5 minutes on the table. That 5 minutes will be productive because that I've learned now. Because that 5 minutes will allow the audience, the investors to ask you more questions. Maybe you'll get a couple extra checks out of that. So the advice is, I think these two great people have given the best advice. I can't beat that. The only other thing is focus on it. But always remember, every time you do something, you're going to fail in 10 things or 20 things. Recognize where you failed and learn and move on.
A round of applause for these three entrepreneurs kicking butt in their own right here. Great question from Corey Robin, who's, surprised he didn't have his sign here for Ward 5. If you're voting Ward 5, Corey's right.
You're in the car.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to see them around the college every 10 centimeters, because I think that's how you put
Is that the sign rule
that's
this
the
year?
new sign.
2 feet?
They don't like to call them tick jokes. Settle down, kids. All right. Are there any other questions? All right.
We do.
Your mic's terrible, so I'll get that. Not even your booming old radio voice.
My booming old
save
radio
that
voice
mic
won't
there.
suffice.
You guys have mentioned your pitch decks. What else did you prepare in advance, like business plans, that sort of thing? Like what else did you have ready in advance of your presentation or pitch?
I had the full business plan prepared at that point, and then it was just taking it and redoing the business model canvas and getting all of those chunks that were then included in that pitch deck. And so it was really getting the whole view of what I wanted for the business and doing all of the work instead of not just the pitch deck. Like it was really getting a full understanding of what I was doing and where I was going.
I know during the LinkNorth pitch competition, they wanted sales forecast, so you gotta have your projected sales, bring in a little object, or I brought in a few signs. I'm sure you brought in some kombucha for the judges to test. You know, you want to impress the judges with not only your words, but with your work. Rather than be tasting some delicious kombucha or looking at some beautiful signs. You know, add a little something more than just your words to it. But besides that, I'd say just forecasted sales, your business plan, and practice.
Vinit.
When I started, I had no clue. Now, when I see these two people, I'm just in awe. Because they're probably half my age, and they've achieved way more than what I could dream of. When I started, someone told me, there is this website called lifeplan.ca, or liveplan.ca. It has everything in it. The free version is the best place to start. Don't pay for it. You'll have to create financial model, how much money you will make 5 years from now. The biggest joke is that's a joke. Because whatever you predict tomorrow doesn't happen. Who the heck knows what happens 5 years from now? But a lot of investors that I've talked to since then basically say they want to know you have the ability to think ahead. So even though what you put there may not make sense, they want you to have all of that. The sales forecast, financial forecast, business plan. And So if you go into lifeplan.ca, I'm not advertising for them, I have no clue who owns that, but it's the easiest place to go because I had no clue about business, and that was where I learned how to draw that whole thing. But once you do the whole thing, they do something really interesting. You can print the full business plan out of that. And you can go in, add pictures, make it look sexy, add colors, all those things. Or go to these two fine Tom and Jerry gentlemen. I was thinking of, a long time since I watched Tom and Jerry. Today I got a good experience of that. But they're really able to promote just like that. So, get some advice from people who can do that. And these things, you can print it into PDF or Word. So if an investor wants them, you already have a stack of everything. And not only that, those financial models, we talk about how many employees you have this year, next year. And if you enter those numbers, it will create beautiful graphs of all kinds of stuff. So instead of telling you every single one thing you have to do, I would strongly suggest that place. That's where I started. It's very helpful.
Tom, do we have any more questions?
I was hoping more for Beavis and Butthead, but we'll.
You know what? Tom and Jerry's a good reference, yeah. Beavis and
But I
Butthead.
already started advertising for you guys, and I need a commission on the way out.
That's good, he claimed it. Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh, right.
I have one.
Oh, we've got
Okay.
Kim.
So I have a question for each of you. How did you come up with your logo, and how are you branding your logo?
I actually came up with my logo when I was working for the Timmins Economic Development Corporation, and it's one of the workers there that made it for me. And so I really wanted something that there's a lot of meaning to it. And so it looks like a Tresor with some of the, like more of the, what do you call it, diamond-shaped branches. And I wanted a tree to be like the tree of life and empowering from within. And then it also, I had a comment, it wasn't intentional at first, but then when it came to me, I fell in love with the idea, and that it almost looks like neural networks, which is really the reason why I started the business also after my injury. And so it really just tied everything together. And so how I'm promoting that is really, tree is really big in personal development, mindset, and a couple beverages out there on the market today. And so I feel like everyone can resonate with the tree of life, and it's just growth seeking and empowering. And so that's how I'm going to be using the branding for the tree, and it's already started. And so I started selling some hats that I have there, and I have some sweatshirts. And I was actually in North Bay one weekend, and I had seen someone who was from Timmins, but we just knew each other in passing. And so she looked at me and she's like, I feel like I know you, but I'm not sure. And then she recognized the hat. She said, oh, it's Tresor, the empowerment hat. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. And so it's really starting to catch on. And yeah, so that's my logo.
Well, you can't see my logo, but if you look on the business card, it's kind of just a welder with my favorite color. I didn't put too much thought into the logo. I'm not even gonna lie. When I wanted to start my business, I started fresh out of college with just my student loan, so I didn't have much capital and much to work with. So I just used a few free online photo editor apps. Came up with a little welder figure. Couldn't think of a name, so I said, all right, we'll go Jared's Metal Art. Change it if I feel like I need to change it, but I wasn't going to let a name and a logo be the reason why I don't start. So I kind of just took whatever looked decent at the time, and starting off with going to markets and really focusing on the local market, I noticed that a lot of people like the Jared's Metal Art, that is just some guy in his garage starting off, and they feel like they're supporting a a young man instead of some big corporation if they buy a gift from me versus Walmart or wherever else. So it didn't start off as a plan to brand that way, but it's definitely turned into kind of a brand in that sense, I suppose, yeah.
I did not have a lot of time to put thought into many things, but that logo and the name of the company, we put a lot of thought into it. Partly because, I don't know if you guys know what I do, when someone gets a stroke, a part of the brain is damaged and half the body is paralyzed. The hand can curls up like that and they have to live with that till they die. They cannot do their own clothing or toiletry or most of the fundamental things of life. And we wanted to change that. 30 years ago when I started my career, there was nothing out there. 30 years later, there's still nothing out there. That's what we wanted to change. So we wanted our logo to mean something, our name to mean something. So IRegained. In other words, they regained their function. It's also a pun on words. So the company name was IRegained, the product name is My Hand. So if someone says, what are you using? I regained my hand is what they should say. That's the goal. So it was a pun on words. So when we did the logo converted from the words into a picture. The I was the brain, and the regain was an R at the end of it. So it kind of showed you the I and the R. And it kind of like looks also like a recycle sign where you're recycling your brain. So we actually spent a lot of time. I would love to take a lot of credit for that, but the word IRegained came from some of the patients that we worked with. They said they regained their function, and we used that. And the logo, my co-founder and I go back. We can know about 36, 37 years. And he's an artist. So he listened to all my gibberish and bullshit that I was talking about. Sorry for the words, I'm not sure if there's a language issue. But anyways, so he came up with the logo, so the credit on the logo goes to him. And his daughter took the weird scribbles he made. I think back then she was 12 or 13 years old. She made it really look amazing. Today the logo really looks cool and captures what we do.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
You were,
to all three of these.
You're okay with the
Amazing
language. Mark dropped the first bad word, so now he opened up the floodgates.
So I guess it's still the time.
Yeah, you're okay now. Sometimes he's not good to follow his example. But we are going to call up Ross now. He does have some closing remarks. I guess I should ask your kinsman before. Was there any other questions?
Any other questions out there? Oh, we do have one more on the far side there.
I don't really have a question. I
Okay.
just want to say the site that you mentioned. I just want to say the site that Vineet mentioned, it's not life plan, but it's like live, you know, like it's
Yes.
alive.
LIVE.
Yeah, and it looks like a very, very interesting site. So just if somebody, like, you know.
Excellent clarification. Sometimes my accent sucks. But I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So it actually helps people.
You can actually join our comedy duo. We can make it a trio if you want in. There's like little look, we already started awkwardly. Perfect, you're in.
KINZ, KLOMP, and Vineet.
Yeah, yes. Keep it right in
And
there.
again, 67th Third, whenever you're in Timmins, our doors are always open in downtown for
That's
everybody.
right. You'll hear him snoring between 9 and like 3. All right, I
Tom
give away
and
all
Jerry,
your
back
secrets.
on.
All right, so let's call up Ross. He's going to provide us with some closing remarks, some important information, and then we're going to draw a stick. Who's going to draw the prizes?
Yes, we've got quite the door prize coming up, so stay tuned, everybody.
Well, I just want to thank our panel of entrepreneurs here. I hope that there's a lot of takeaways tonight. I know I found the stories very interesting. And I even think back to, some of the things that Vineet said when I, first started the workforce a few years ago. talking about calling employees colleagues instead. Because I remember back then, when my employer and stuff, you were treated, kind of like you were the lower employee. Even Jessica, your traditional, like 20 years ago, when you're talking about, your competition stuff, when you thought about your product, your placement, your pricing, all that, you always had in mind, well, what's my competitors doing? I got to think of them and how I'm going to compete with them. And then Jessica comes with a new, different spin on things. Yeah, we should give a round of applause for our Yeah, so I just wanted to talk, we have the flyers there for our Invest Ready program. You can scan the QR code. You can find us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more information, but our first workshop starts Tuesday at 10 a.m. And I think right now we're going to do the prize draw.
Yeah, before we get gifts tonight, we do have on behalf of the NOA and LinkNorth some great party gifts for each and every one of our entrepreneurs tonight. From Kim, we got Jared Rogers, Jessica West,
and Vineet Johnson. There we go. There's the booming pipes are back. All right. And a big round of applause again for our 3 entrepreneurs here this evening. And again, use the services. Again, 3 services that they are using and they're still using. And you can see the successes that they have, and they're readily available. Call, Ross, tonight, tomorrow, and book those, meetings. And tonight, we've got quite the door prize this evening, over $500. It's one entire prize. Ross, do you want to go through what we're giving away tonight?
So it's this whole list, right? So we have a $50 gift certificate from Tim Hortons, donated by Bearskin Park. We have a $100 gift basket from Just Because Chocolates. Oh yeah, well, you can't forget that, right? So
the free salon KINZ and KLOMP, yes.
So the $100, $150, so your value is a $350 value to appear on the KINZ Live KLOMP show. Oh, and the $20 gift certificate too from Just Because Chocolates.
Amazing sponsors.
Oh yeah, can't forget about the Northern Ontario Angels mug.
Northern Ontario Angels mug. And again, the winning ballot is Solomon. Where's Solomon at? Solomon Tenui. There we go. Congratulations, Solomon. Wins all of that tonight. What a door prize. $500 plus. Right there. It's a nice little gift basket in there as well.
I guess Ian should come up too, right, for the picture. All right. Can you do me a favor, Mark? I know Jamie earlier when he was picking on you a little bit, so it just got me curious. So there's a little background to this. So a couple weeks ago, I got to go to KINZ and KLOMP, the new studio. We did a live show, and just before the show started, we sat down and we were talking, and then Jamie and I noticed Mark's socks. So Mark had his dress shoes on. I don't know what color socks are you wearing tonight? Yes.
Are they still white?
So yeah, I guess he's setting a trend.
Yes.
Nice dress shoes
Yes.
and white socks. Setting a trend. So I was just curious about this.
I'm starting trends. New trends in 2022.
Okay, I think that covers everything. Well, we're going to stick around. We welcome everyone to stay for the next half hour or so. We'll do some networking. Full Beer here is still serving drinks. But again, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Kim and Taryn for organizing this event. I think it went very well. Get a round of applause for them. And then our entrepreneurs for coming here, sharing their stories, you know, what inspired them, sharing a little bit of humor. Like I said, Vineet should maybe consider joining the KINZ and KLOMP show for the entertainment value. But thanks again. Stick around for a little bit of networking, and thank you for coming.